Hi, welcome back. You're watching Michelle with Michelle's Life, and today I am here to interview
me, Patty Broussard-Jefferson at PJ Boox.
So I originally actually found this bookshop in a really weird way. My gynecologist's office is actually right next door, and I had some time to kill, so I came over here, and when I walked in, I realized that I didn't recognize any book, and it blew me away, but it definitely also intrigued me. So I came back to talk to the store owner.
That happens a lot. Yeah, that happens a lot. No, not the gynecologist part, but the other part where people come in and they don't recognize any of the books, and we get to tell them why.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's definitely an opener.
So all of our books are by independently and small press published authors from around the world. And so that would explain why people don't know who the authors are. Yeah.
All right, so I have a couple of questions. Number one is, what inspired you to open this store?
I am a children's book illustrator and author, and I knew how real the struggle was for independent authors to try and get their books into the traditional indie bookstores, and it was just hard, and there's not a lot of time. Most people who write also have day jobs, or they have families, or they want to write books, oddly enough, and so they don't have a lot of time for the marketing and whatnot. And it was to be able to drop off 2 books at this place and 2 books at that place and manage all of that. It was just difficult, and as an author myself, I could see that it was time for there to be a place for independent authors to be able to have their books. So I opened up the Gulf Coast Bookstore on Fowler Street in Fort Myers, downtown Fort Myers, and that's all just local authors. And then we got a lot of press because of that being so unique. And so we decided, I just got a lot of mail from all over, and decided that I would go ahead and take it a step further and open something on a much larger standalone kind of scale, and that was PJ Boox.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
We've been here now for a little over a year, and we opened in October of 2015.
Number 2 is, do you remember the first book that you sold on the day that this location opened?
The first book that I sold, gosh, I don't, but I know the first author that reached out to me when I started going public with the fact that we were going to open the store and that we were accepting submissions, and she's actually still in the store. Claudette Mellinson. She is out of Canada, and her books are back here somewhere. She writes a YA vampire series, and has just branched out into children's books as well. So I have her first children's book here as well. Yeah,
that's cool. You guys kind of started around the same time then.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite section in your store? Like, I guess if you were to choose one section, what would your favorite section be?
Personally, I like to read the mysteries and the thrillers, memoirs, biography, that sort of thing. But since I write and illustrate children's books, I'm really fond of our children's section. We've got a lot of really cool books, a lot of beautifully illustrated books.
Illustrations definitely draw you in over there.
Yeah, and we've got, so we made a seating area, and we get a lot of, especially since we're next door to a deli that has cheap food on the weekends. People bring their kids for that, and so it's nice to always see, like a family reading to the kids and the family in there. So I think that's probably my secret favorite place. And that's where my books are.
Yeah, that's cool. Number 4 is, we know what thing sets your bookstore apart from the others, but is there another thing that you think might set yours apart from other bookstores?
Well, what people notice, of course, is that all of our books are front-facing.
Okay.
Which is not something that other bookstores do, and the reason that they don't do it that way is because it's not financially it doesn't make sense. It's not the best use of space in a regular bookstore, but because our authors are more like partners, It's, you know, this is the prime space that really in a regular bookstore that the big publishers would pay for. That extra advertising space where when you go in and there's a table full of the book and they're all sitting up and you can see them. That's something that, you know, Random or, you know,
Penguin or
Random Penguin. That's something that they pay a premium for, which is not something that's available to independent authors. So this is kind of our way around it. So that's unique. Most of our books are signed, since we deal directly with the authors rather than you know, through distribution channels like Ingram or that. And we have a lot of award winners. A lot of our books are national or international award winners. We've got a lot of Amazon bestsellers. We've got New York Times best-selling authors here. So when people come in, it's visually different, and then we tell them those kinds of stories, and it's kind of a cool thing. People like being able to support, you know, basically small business owners.
Number 5 is, what is your earliest memory of visiting a bookstore personally?
We lived very close to a library when I was growing up, and I have tried to do that all along the way. I always try to move near the library. I remember the day that I got my first library card, and that was a huge deal. Not only was it my first piece of identification, but it was like this was the key to the kingdom. Bookstores, I still to this day, I like antique bookstores. I like that smell. I like being any place where I can sit on the floor with a stack of books and just kind of absorb it. I laugh because people come in the front door and they breathe differently in a bookstore. It's like there's like this big sigh where they're like shedding the outside, and now it's like time for, you know, whatever fantasy comes out of the book. Different land or...
That's pretty cool that you then capture in your store what people capture in their books. People are able to leave their world behind.
Well, and that's part of the reason that we have like places where you can sit and read. That's part of the reason that we did the living room, was because for me, I like to curl up and read a book, and standing in a store and flipping through the pages is not the book experience. And so we kind of like the book experience. So we invite people to, you know, to sit down and test drive the books. They don't know these authors. The books are worth reading. The stories are worth telling. They just don't know any of them. So it's nice that they can sit. And then we get a lot of people who just come in and hang out and want to talk about books. A lot of writers in Florida. A lot of people who retire and finally have time to write their stories. So we have a lot of people who come in and just hang out and talk about writing books.
Maybe one day I'll be one of those people.
That would be awesome. You can come and talk to me anytime. That'd be great.
I've only been working on it since I was 16, but it's always on the back burner, you know.
It's funny, people always ask, you know, how long does it take you to write a book? And the first one, about 10 years, just because you have other things to do. And I think that's why in Florida there's so many, because we have so many retired people who finally have time. So it's nice. It's nice the way I think we're building a community, you know, place.
Number 6 is the biggest surprise about running a bookstore.
Biggest surprise? You know, I think it's just like anything when you're a creative person. Like I have owned an art gallery in the Keys and a paint-it-yourself pottery studio in Virginia. And the fun parts of it are awesome, and then you just realize that, you've got to figure out your taxes, and you've got to figure out your corporate papers, and you have to do all of that and pay the bills and all of the glamorous things, clean the bathroom. And so sometimes that new car smell wears off. But we've been here, like I said, for over a year now, and every day I come and I love being in, I call it the book gallery, because you can see all of the art, and I think that that's probably the thing that surprises me every day when I come. I was like, even if the drive is like, oh, I gotta go to work,
Yeah.
then I get here and I'm like, oh yeah, I work here,
Yeah.
so this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I 7 o'clock comes and I'm still hanging out, and it's I get a lot of work has to be done at home because I spend so much time talking to people and hanging out and hearing everybody's life stories. People want to tell you about the first book that they read, or their favorite book, or their favorite author, and stuff. So it's like being a bartender. They end up telling you their whole life story, because it really has to do with books, the stories that they've heard, and remembering that their mom read to them. That's why they're readers, or that they used to be readers and then they stopped, but now they're reading again, or something like that. And so I think it's surprising. I'm used to it now, but I think it was that people would just
Come in here and
be
open
here
up.
and open up, and so it's like it's a safe place. And I hadn't counted on that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a religious experience that people are feeling when they come in.
I think bookstores are a religious experience. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's the Church of Books. I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's like we get people who come in and it's the kids will whisper, and I always go, it's not a library. You can talk in a bookstore, and then after that you can't shut them up because now they want to talk to you about it. And they come in with an expectation of they want a certain book by a certain author, and then they find out that that's not what we do. We're not Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
And they have to step outside of that comfort zone and read something that none of their friends have read. And that's kind of for some people that's very scary. For some people that's very freeing. Yeah. It's like, okay, great. I see people on their phone, and I used to think that they were price comparing, but they're not. They're checking the reviews.
Yeah.
And all of our books go through a vetting process before we accept them in the store. So I know that those reviews are good.
Yeah.
And I know that they're going to have, so they buy the books. And I have people who will come in and they'll look through, and then they buy it, an e-version. And so the author's still making the book sound. So it's all good. We don't like that. We're hoping in 2017 we'll add ebook options on our website. So you can buy the books, you can buy all of the you can buy the physical books from our website now, which is pjboox.com.
I'll link that down below for you guys.
And if somebody is an author who wants to know more about being in the store, it's pjboox.net.
Okay.
Is our author side of it. It has all that information.
I'll put the link on the screen.
It'll be
something here. Well, that's it for this interview today. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you stay tuned to the end because I will show you the inside of this bookstore. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.